Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we want to take a look at a very nice team here for the Master League. Honestly, one of the best teams they can run right now. It's going to be the Kyogre in the lead, the Saystop of the Lugia, as well as the Dialga in the back here. The core between Kyogre and Dialga is basically perfect. Like, you're going to be able to beat basically anything that beats Dialga with your Kyogre, while Dialga beats basically anything that the Kyogre doesn't want to face. So this team was a lot of fun to play. I played 2 sets with this, went 7 and 3, which is definitely more than solid. And we're going to take a look at all my games that I played with this team today. We're going to have here Lugia against us. This is something that I misplayed for sure here in the beginning. As you can see here, my opponent still gets to move, and it's going to be the Arrow Blast, and not really ideal for us. We're still going to be able to survive, and for some whatever reason actually, I'm going to be able to still get to 2 charge moves against this Rayquaza. This is not how it's supposed to happen, but I'm definitely thankful for that one, because now I will be able to at least get some damage onto them. They're staying in for way too long here against our Lugia for whatever reason, which is really nice, because of course I still have the Zacian lurking. So we will be able to now swap immediately into our Kyogre, trying to do some damage against them, put them into range for maybe a Sky Attack later on, or just the Surf, as we're going to be able to win, of course, a CMP tie against the opponent here. The Surf going to knock them out, and it's going to be a very good game here. So I don't know if really the Iron Head is really mattering there too much. I think we would have won anyway, but definitely nice to get that extra run off there. Another Zacian in the lead, and this is the thing why Kyogre is maybe a little bit underrated right now. There are a lot of leads that you're going to be able to have a pretty decent time against. Of course, Dragon-type Pokemon are not really ideal for you, as well as, for example, a Giratina Origin lead is not really ideal for this team. I think we're going to face some later on though, so like definitely going to have some footage for that one. I think I faced 2 leads with Giratina Origin, so not always just good leads for me. As you're going to see here, Dialga coming in, and we went into our Lugia, because Lugia can take any charge move really. Thunder is the worst possible one that they could have had, but I will be able to now go ahead and go for the Sky Attack, as they kind of forced to shield this charge move up, and they can still go for another one here, doing some pretty decent damage against the opponent, and we should be pretty fine here, doing enough damage so we can farm down later on with our Dialga. We know already that they have Thunder, so we don't really have to shield our Dialga, as Thunder as well as Iron Head going to be resisted onto our own Dialga here. In comes the Landorus. They go for the superpower, allowing us to go for one Iron Head here real quick, forcing the shield, swapping out, going to our Kyogre, go for another Surf here, and we will be able to do this combo play here in order to knock out the opponent. And also this Dialga does know already that this is going to be game over. Of course, Lugia Saystop for this team going to be very decent against something like Giratina. It's going to be a little bit tricky though. What do you do against Giratina against this Pokemon? Here it's going to be a little bit tricky, of course, as you might expect already. They're going to go for the Shadow Ball. What I usually do is I go up to an Aero Blast and go for the Sky Attack. This will allow me to get usually 2 Sky Attacks off, and I usually get a shield advantage here, which is really nice for me. Sadly, this time around, my opponent gonna go into a Dialga, which is really not ideal for me in this scenario, as now I have to go into my own Dialga, have to shield up once, have to farm them all the way down. This is really not ideal for me. Else we're going to have to shield this move up, of course, going to be the Iron Head. And I thought of trying to swap out into my Kyogre here, but actually they're still going to get to 1 Iron Head here against us, which is really annoying for us. But we're still going to be able to knock them out, at least with this one. In comes now the Groudon, and we can go ahead and go for the Draco Meteor, doing a ton of damage against them, and swap out immediately into our Kyogre. But can our Kyogre take a half-health Giratina here? I'm not really sure about this one. We're going to be able to shield up the correct move at least, and we will be able to go for some Surf spam later on as they go for another Shadow Ball. Gonna get us low, gonna get us close to the red half here already. But can we still win this game here with our Kyogre? Let's take a look at this one. Surf coming through, gonna get shielded, and we're still going to be able to reach another one, as this should be a CMP tie here, allowing us to knock them out, and also allowing us to knock out this Groudon, winning us this game, saying good game to my opponent, and we can move on into the next one. Next opponent, another Zacian lead, very decent for us, as we're going to be able to, still I'm usually shielding up once, because they could have Wild Charge, which can be a little bit annoying, and I feel like if they have Zacian, like Kyogre usually is a pretty decent bet in general, but here we're going to see a Mewtwo, which is really not ideal for us. What you're going to have to do here is try to catch a Side Strike, and honestly, it couldn't have worked out any better. As you can see here, Side Strike coming through, gonna be resisted, and we still should be able to survive one Shadow Ball from the opponent. But it turns out they only have Side Strike plus Focus Blast. So this will allow us now to definitely just win this match up straight, farming them all the way down here with our Dragon Tail against the opponent, against the opponent's Mewtwo here, as it's going to take one more, and we will be able to farm them all the way down. having a ton of energy right now, knowing the opponent's team already, I'm going to swap out here into my Kyogre against the opponent's Metagross, knowing that my Kyogre of course going to have one of the biggest impacts here into this matchup, as they're going to be able to shield up the Earthquake. They're going to go back into their Zacian. They are forced to shield something soon. We're going to be able to get to this Surf here, allowing us to go ahead and do a lot of damage, as they're actually going to let this move go through, allowing us to knock them out here, as they're going to go for the Play Rough. I can go ahead and go for the full farm down with the fast move alone. In comes here, of course, the Metagross again. We can go for another charge move here. Surf coming through. We're gonna get the final shield. I can go into my Dialga, and there's nothing that the opponent can do here anymore. Even an Earthquake shouldn't be enough to knock me out here, and I can swap out and go for the finishing blow, literally here with the Arrow Blast, winning us this game. Very good game. Next opponent, let's take a look at this one. We're going to encounter here the Kyogre against the Zacian in the lead. Very okayish for us, I guess. Again, we have this lead quite a bit now. Zacian lead seems to be very common right now in my elo range. Pretty high elo as well, like around 3,200 again with this one here. Very, very nice. I think I'm ended up at 3,193 MMR, I think. So I gained some decent elo with this team as well, which is really decent. Which is definitely really decent. Decent elo with a decent team, I guess. But yeah, we're going to be able to go for 2 Surfs here, getting both shields from the opponent. In comes here now the Play Rough from the opponent as well, as we will be able to now go ahead, shield up this move, farm them all the way down, and realign. This is a little bit more important for me than anything else, I feel like. As you're going to see the Melmetal coming, I have to go for the Surf here. I really would like to go for the Orange and Pulse, but we have to get some damage onto the opponent. It's not really ideal here right now. I'm forced to go into my Lugia. Lugia will not be able to really knock out the Melmetal here either, but it's definitely a better matchup than our Dialga in the back, of course. We can go for one Sky Attack here. The Sky Attack going to do some pretty decent damage, but it's still not really the ideal play for us, as we're going to have to let those Rock Slides go through. They're most likely going to be able to realign as well with their Pokemon here. And it's basically now, I think they even have more energy than they tried to show, so they will be even able to knock out our Kyogre here. Now it's all down to Dialga. Can we still win this just with the one Dialga? We will find out shortly, but yeah, we're going to encounter a Togekiss here. This is not really ideal, of course. We have 0 shields. One Iron Head does not knock them out, but they're going to swap into the Zacian, trying to catch a move. Didn't work out for them, allowing us to go for another Iron Head here against the opponent's Togekiss, but we still have to reach another one, and we will be able to just barely do this in time, allowing us to win this game here and finish up those fairy types with our Dialga, which is of course perfect. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to see a Giratina in the lead. Horrible lead again, very hard countered, basically the worst possible lead that you can encounter with this team here right now, as even Dialga would have been better for the Lugia to deal with. Here of course our fast move is super effective, the opponent's fast move is super effective, and you know already how we play this game out, but you're going to see it already. The opponent swapped into a Zacian. Not ideal for us whatsoever, and they're going to go for the full farm down against us. Totally okay though, as he can go ahead and go for an Arrow Blast, forcing a shield from the opponent, which they do cleverly here as well. The best attack boost I've ever seen on a Lugia, with like 2 HP with double resisted Dragon Tails and not really doing anything. But we will be able to now go ahead and hopefully farm them all the way down with our Kyogre. We have to kind of let this move go through here though, and sadly I am not able to go for the Surf, so for me at this point of time this game was over. I'm going to forfeit there. Not ideal for us, really not ideal. Worst possible lead, as well as, yeah, not really the best save swap for us either. Speaking of not the best save swap for us either, and worst possible lead, we're going to encounter Dialga in the lead against our Kyogre, as well as now a Zacian swapping in. So this is not really ideal, especially as they're running Wild Charge. Yeah, Wild Charge is going to do some decent damage against us here, of course. We can go for the Sky Attack here, hopefully gonna get the shield from the opponent as well. Let's take a look at this. They're going to shield this move up. Should have maybe tried to go up to what's called Arrow Blast there, but it's still okay. I maybe even would have been able to realign if I wanted to, but I can't really. I have to keep my Dialga alive for the opponent's Dialga. So it's not really ideal. I can farm them all the way down here, but it's going to be a little bit tough. Let's see what's coming in. It's coming in the opponent's Dialga actually, which is an interesting play here from the opponent, allowing us to go for an Iron Head here, trying to get some damage onto the opponent as well with that one. But we're going to see the shield coming up here. And honestly, you're going to see a big mistake here by me. We see now the Mewtwo coming in. I should have swapped out immediately. It does not make sense to stay in here, and this is going to be really, really brutal for me. If I swapped out immediately, I would have won this game. And this is the sad story about this. I just didn't know how to deal with it. Like, I honestly didn't know how to deal with it, because if I like basically swapped out immediately, I would be able to get the opponent low enough that I could just farm down later on with my Dialga again, because they can definitely get off a surf against the opponent, as well as the fast move is chunking a lot, so the opponent wouldn't even be able to overfarm by quite a bit. So, like this, we're going to lose this game, but this was definitely a winnable game if I just played it better. Swapped immediately into my Kyogre as soon as I saw the Mewtwo coming in, as we had just had a very decent neutral matchup in the zero shield scenario against Mewtwo. We still would have lost that one, as you're most likely going to see here, actually, how much damage we do in the zero shield scenario. But this was really not ideal. Yeah, exactly. Look, we would have put them easily into the farm down range for the Dialga. So, yeah, if I just played it better, I would have been able to win this game. But I didn't. So, another thing that I didn't know before is something that you're going to see here right now. I lose CMP against a Palkia. I didn't think that would be the case, so that's definitely my fault here. I have higher CP, so like I thought I had the higher attack stat as well, but I guess they have a just slightly higher attack stat and a way worse defense or something. I don't know really. But, yeah, this was not ideal for me. What is also not really ideal is the Florges right now. Because if you look at my team, I have my Dialga where they're going to have to go for one Moonblast in order to knock me out here. But they're also going to have still my Lugia, which main damage source is as well going to be the fast move Dragon Tail, which is going to be double resisted. So that's not really ideal. But I can still go ahead and go into my Kyogre, but of course my opponent is very smart and does play very well here. And they catch the move onto their own Mewtwo, which makes it even worse here. But at least we were able to put them into range for one Sky Attack. So at this point of time, I just have to go for one more, for two Sky Attacks basically in order to win this game. But it really depends if I can take 2 Moonblast from the Florges. I'm not sure about this one. It's going to be a close one. Moonblast coming through here, first one, going to do some decent damage. It's literally just onto the range. I'm not sure if this is going to knock me out or not. Let's see if our Lugia is bulky enough. It is just barely bulky enough, winning us this game here again. Going to be able to go for another Sky Attack and going to be able to knock out the opponent. Very nice for us. Next opponent, Memos my lead. Very good lead for us, but I misplay this game here quite a bit. We see a Lugia coming in, allowing me to go for one Surf here to just get some damage onto the opponent. And I am get the shield, which is actually okay for me. I can go ahead and go into my Dialga, and I'm actually going to go ahead and shield up this move here. It's going to be an Aeroblast anyway, so I know about this anyway as well. But I make a huge mistake here. I'm going to be able to get the opponent super low here right now, of course. But I actually should have went for the Iron Head before, I guess. Maybe it actually isn't a mistake, because I don't think an Iron Head would have knocked them out there from this range yet. Well, of course, they're going to be able to get the boost here with the Lugia as well as we did before, but this time around for the opponent it actually mattered. We will be able to still reach another Iron Head against the opponent's Memo Spine, not allowing them to get too much farm here, and this is kind of important. They got like 3 fast moves in here, and we will be able to go ahead and go into our Lugia now against the opponent's Giratina. Not really ideal for us again. Giratina super effective Shadow Ball can hit us pretty hard, but we will be able to get them at least very low here, as we're going to have to shield this move up as well. It's going to be the Shadow Ball. I have to get them lower here, otherwise the matchup with the Kyogre are going to be pain. And as you're going to see here right now, they're going to go for another Shadow Ball. I will be able to reach another Sky Attack here, which is going to be very decent for us. And this Sky Attack going to be able to get the final shield of the opponent. I cannot swap out in time. I have to farm them down. They sadly still survive, which is really not ideal for me. And you see me here going for the move. I expected the opponent to swap out immediately into the Memo Spine, but they didn't do this, which really helped them here. But it doesn't matter, because they're going to be able to knock them out onto their charge move. They were literally just there. So this was not really ideal. Speaking of not really ideal, we're going to have a horrible lead for us with the Dialga in the lead. This is really not ideal for us as well, as of course they're going to be able to go for one Draco Meteor here if they want to. They're going to go for the Iron Head bait. Smart decision, of course, of their side. I can go for the bait myself as well. Let's see if they're going to shield this move up. And they're going to shield this move up. So both of us were able to bait here pretty decently. And now I'm going to go ahead and try to go for the bait again. Should have shielded this move up as well. I thought it was just an Iron Head, but they went straight for the Draco Meteor. Very smart decision by them. I will be able to go ahead and go into my Dialga now. And they retaliate here with a Giratina. Honestly, mostly I should have shielded this move here, because it would have been the best move I think I could have shielded in this game here. But Shadow Ball does a ton of damage here, of course, against us. We will see the Iron Head coming through here right now, and we're going to see the opponent coming back into their Dialga. I can still get to the Iron Head, which is pretty decent, but we have to hope that there's something in the back that our Kyogre can deal with, and Rayquaza is definitely not the case for that one. So triple Dragon Team, our Kyogre had nowhere to go, so that was kind of annoying. Still, that's going to be it for the video. Still very decent team, 7-3 with this one here. getting us a lot of Edo as well. So hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!